France often receives a lot of praise for its railways, with people admiring the high-speed TGV as one of the best in the world. But let me tell you why I think these people are wrong. I'm going to be taking a journey on the famous French TGV train, from Paris to Strasbourg, showing you exactly why this service is not as good as people say. From the station experience to the state of the carriages, and even the onboard service. So join me for a high-speed trip through France as I explore this world favourite train. Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm here in Paris and I'm stood outside Gare for a journey on board one of Europe's fastest high-speed railways. I'm going to be taking the French TGV over to Strasbourg on a non-stop journey in second class. Let's go! Good morning from Paris East, one of the 7 main stations serving the French capital. This neoclassical style station building is well worth marvelling at before your journey, first opening in 1849 to serve the Paris to Strasbourg line, evidence of the station's original destinations being carved into the facade just beneath the canopy. But let's head inside this busy Parisian station and see what's on offer. My first impression is that this station has shops, and a lot of them too. This hall also featured a ticket office, complete with a very long queue. Ticket machines are also available, but I'd suggest pre-booking online, as trains very often sell out. The main part of this station is the platform hall, located just before the platforms as the name suggests. Here you'll find a few small bakeries offering some of France's delightful pastries and cakes, one of the best things about the country in my opinion. There are also numerous shops to pick up a snack or a drink before the ride. Paris East is a station filled with history, from the building's classic design to the artwork within. This piece depicts the departure of French soldiers from the city during World War I, many of whom were never to return. The nearby memorial lists the names of railway workers who were among those individuals. Heading into the station's central hall, there's yet another massive selection of shops, as well as a convenient connection to 3 lines on the Paris Metro. Paris East sees a large variety of services for various different purposes. Many of these are Transilien commuter trains, serving Paris and the surrounding region with frequent departures and high-capacity trains. A selection of regional trains also depart from the station, heading for smaller destinations east of Paris. The station also sees a handful of trains from other countries, with Germany's ICE running high-speed services to Frankfurt and Stuttgart, the Austrian Nightjet running sleeper trains to Vienna and Berlin, and until 2020 this station even saw a weekly service to Moscow, Russia. But the main railway service here is the high-speed TGV, the pride and joy of SNCF, France's national operator. This is what I'll be catching today, with my train being TGV 2421, the 1252 to Strasbourg. And boarding this train is where we encounter the first problem of the TGV experience. Each platform has its own gate line, resulting in massive queues as every single passenger and their luggage slowly moves through. And to make matters worse, the gates were slow to scan the ticket. After that airport-style boarding check, I'm finally free to find my seat and get on board. By the way, this service is operated by a TGV Réseau unit, truly one of the most iconic train designs ever made. This one, number 538, was built by Alstom in 1993, consisting of 2 power cars and 8 trailers. It's capable of up to 320 kilometres an hour, making it one of the fastest trains in the world, and the joint fastest train in Europe. I'm travelling in carriage 5 today, one of the second-class cars in the centre of the train. Let's get on board. Getting on a TGV is always a slow process due to the low amount of doors. Seating is in a 2+2 layout, with a design that can only be described as flamboyant. My seat is number 11, an aisle seat at a table. Today's route sees us departing Paris before making our way to the LGV Est high-speed line. From there, we will run non-stop all the way to Strasbourg, doing the journey in 1 hour and 46 minutes, covering 441 kilometres or about 274 miles. We depart Paris East at 12:52, bang on time. Beside us is one of SNCF's double-deck TGVs, increasing capacity on the high-speed network, with the company aiming to replace all single-deck units in the future. Our route out of the capital is shared with ordinary commuter trains, with the dedicated high-speed tracks not starting for a few more minutes. Let's start off by looking around the interior. This eccentric theme was designed by Christian Lacroix, dating back to 2004, making this interior 20 years old. The seats are mostly magenta, with a few red ones throughout the carriage. This is actually the colour scheme of SNCF's logo. Anyway, these seats are really comfortable in my opinion, and there's a lot of padding with good ergonomic design. Up top, there's a padded leather headrest, with the sides of this folding in to allow you to lean your head on it. Now I'm actually a little bit annoyed about this seat, and here's why. I specifically selected a window seat at the time of booking and was given an aisle seat, while the window seat next to me was empty for the entire journey. So I really don't know why I was given this seat, but hey, I shouldn't complain too much, as at least I got my window view. But speaking of the windows, these were absolutely filthy, resulting in a foggy view to the outside world. Each seat has adjustable armrests, which can be folded away in this quirky manner. Hidden away beneath the seat is the recline lever. Using this and shuffling forward actually results in a really decent amount of recline. Airline-style seats have tolerable legroom, though those with longer legs would probably struggle here. Down here is a folding footrest, though the design of this seat means it actually takes away legroom when not in use. And just above this is a small pocket for holding personal items. There's also a seat back table, and believe me, this is one of the largest I've ever seen. Some trains out there have smaller tables than this, even in first class. Finally, just next to this you can find a folding drinks holder. It certainly seems like SNCF understands the needs of a business traveller. Looking back outside, we are currently passing through the station of Chelles-Gournay. This is the last station before we join the LGV Est high-speed railway. And sure enough, we soon begin to build speed rapidly, leaving behind the outer reaches of Paris. It's only a few minutes before we reach this section of line's top speed, an impressive 300 km an hour. France's network of high-speed railway routes is seriously impressive, boasting the 4th largest network in the world and the 2nd largest in Europe behind Spain. We are currently speeding through France's Champagne wine region, the historic home of the alcoholic beverage dating back to the Middle Ages. The wine variety lends its name from the former province, that since 2016 has been merged to form the Grand Est region. Despite this being a non-stop service, there are a few intermediate stations. This is Champagne-Ardenne TGV, which serves the city of Reims. However, this station is far from the city centre, about 5 kilometres away, and that's a roughly 25-minute journey by tram, negating a lot of the high-speed benefit. Right, let's go and have a look around the rest of the train. Here, in the space between seating areas, you can find toilets. These were incredibly compact, but thankfully were pretty clean. Here, the soap dispenser was working fine, as was the water. And over here, there's a button-operated hand dryer. Moving further forwards towards the front of the train, we find first class. This is in a 2+1 layout with a much more subdued grey colour scheme. These seats are basically massive armchairs too. I really am a big fan. Here in carriage number 4, you can find the onboard bar. This has a really nice vibe to it, with pairs of windows lining the carriage walls, letting in a lot of natural light in this communal space. The friendly attendant has laid out all the soft drink and snack options on the bar, though a small selection of more substantial meals is also available. I didn't get any of these, which I actually kinda regret. but the prices were very high. I went for a hot chocolate for the high price of €3.80. Eesh, that's expensive. A small piece of dark chocolate was also given to me for free, which was a nice touch. I sat back to enjoy this drink while the French countryside zoomed past. Now that we are far out of Paris, we're travelling at the train's top speed of 320 kilometres an hour, a truly exhilarating experience. While speeding along, we pass over some other lines in the valleys below. This is the line from Metz to Léroville. Those classic lines very much follow the geography of the landscape, while our LGV high-speed line simply cuts through the hills and across gaps on long viaducts. But despite the impressive speed these trains are capable of, they really aren't well looked after. You may have noticed earlier the terrible condition of the doors, with the colours literally peeling off. Well, this poor condition also continues inside, with various stains around the train, seat covers falling off the cushions, and even threadbare fabric. There also seems to be lots of parts that hadn't seen a good clean in a very long time. To be honest, I expected better of a flagship train like this one. Another problem with the TGV service is that quite often you'll be unable to travel. SNCF has a compulsory reservation system, meaning trains can sell out. SNCF really need to rethink their strategy here, as I very often see complaints about this. This station is Lorraine TGV, another station in the middle of nowhere. This one serves the city of Metz, nearly 20 kilometers away. Even the city's small airport is closer to the centre. Let's talk about luggage space. This single-deck TGV has loads of room, with interesting two-tier overhead luggage racks along the carriage. The bottom layer is for smaller items, while the top layer is positively huge. There are also luggage stacks dotted throughout the carriage, with larger ones found in some of the vestibules. All seats get a European-style power socket, and this was working fine. The train is equipped with easy-to-connect-to free Wi-Fi, and much like the train, this was high speed. You also get an individual reading light, cleverly tucked away between seats, and it was very bright. Much unlike the table lamp, which you could barely even notice. Lastly, all windows are equipped with an adjustable sunblind. As we speed towards Strasbourg on the final stretch, let's talk about how much this trip cost. I paid €77 for a one-way ticket in second class. I think this is pretty expensive, especially as this was a non-flexible booking. And at this point, our TGV begins to slow down as the LGV Est comes to an end. Here we fly over the line to Saarbrücken in Germany. Despite being a fairly nearby and major city, it sees just 2 direct trains per day from Strasbourg. Pathetic. This station is Vendenheim, the first station we pass since rejoining the classic railway network. Strasbourg is a city that sits on the border to Germany, and so has a large freight yard for trains waiting to continue before or after crossing the border. We eventually pull into Strasbourg 1 minute early, at 14:37. Our impressive run across the country had an average speed of 252 kilometers an hour. Overall, whilst the high-speed technology developed in France is seriously impressive, the passenger experience is somewhat lacking, with chaotic and unnecessary queues at stations, compulsory reservation, high prices, and a fleet of worn-out trains. I have to say, I much prefer the German ICE high-speed network. And to learn why that is, then be sure to click up here next to see my video on the country's newest train.